this episode of Hillbilly Blood.
No, you have not forgotten this weekend.
Spencer needs to make a place for his mother-in-law to stay.
Sure as hell can't put mother-in-law in the outhouse.
So the boys try to turn a drying shed into a queen's cottage.
I don't know if you've forgotten, brother, but we got a dirt floor.
Can they fix the foundation without bringing the whole place down?
Back up!
And will they turn this shack into something sweet, or will the whole thing go up in smoke?
My mother-in-law would never stay in there.
Here in Cold Mountain, North Carolina, the living is tough. Folks live off the land just like their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents before them, getting by with little and making do with less. There's nobody better than Eugene Runkus, who's got hillbilly invention running through his veins, and his mountain brother, Spencer Two Dogs Bojack, who's unlocked the secrets at the heart of these woods.
Word's gotten around that Eugene and Spencer make the finest knives on Cold Mountain. Making those knives puts lots of food on the table. So when an order comes in, they fire up the forge.
Hey, Spencer.
Hold on a second.
No, you have not forgotten this weekend. We are going to Mom's.
Eugene and I are getting started on a huge knife order, and Melody comes out from the house and reminds me that we're headed to the in-laws this week. Gene and I have got a huge knife order to do, and it's due in about a week and a half, and there's no way we're going to be able to get it done in a couple of days. Tell you what, why don't you take the kids and go on down there? Just give her my apologies.
No.
I'm going to stay here and work on these knives with Gene.
No. How about she come here?
She can't come here. We don't have room in the house.
I don't know. You figure it out. Talk to me later.
Damn it. There's no way I'm going to win that. I'm going to have to go with her.
I mean, this is the biggest deal we've had all year. We can't back out on this, man. Spencer and I have got 50 knives to make. Now, that's enough money to tide us over for the winter. And the problem is we've only got a week and a half to get them done.
I sure as hell can't put mother-in-law in the outhouse.
Maybe fix up that drying shed. Put her up there in that thing.
Yeah, the drying shed's made for drying plants, brother. Not for mother-in-laws. I can always count on Eugene to think up something original. And his plan is to turn my drying shed into a guest house for my mother-in-law.
I don't have a floor in it. I mean, we can do something about that. You got some logs up there.
Well, let's go up there and take a look.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get her down here so that we can get this knife order done.
It's gonna take 3 days just to chink it.
Chinking is a filling between the logs in the cabin. Here in the holler, folks make their own out of mud, clay, sand, and lime. But that ain't the only thing that's got to be filled in.
I don't know if you've forgotten, brother, but we got a dirt floor. My mother-in-law is never gonna stay in this place. My mother-in-law is a classy lady. She's not gonna be sleeping in some shed with a dirt floor.
We can get some lumber and floor this thing up. And as far as the walls go, we don't have to chink it. We can wall it up with canvas. And actually it'd be the perfect thing because when you see leaves, you can take that down and you'll have your drying shed back again.
And this canvas you're talking about is expensive.
Well, we can trade for it. And honestly, Spencer, I can't afford to lose that sale.
You think we can do this in 2 or 3 days?
Oh, I know we can.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Eugene's plan is to turn that drying shed into a room fit for a mother-in-law by building a wood floor and then covering the walls with canvas.
Eugene's pretty confident that we can make it real cozy.
When was the last time you checked these logs?
I haven't checked these logs since we built it. The thing that I'm trying to figure out is where we're going to get the canvas.
A piece of canvas is at least your worries right now. That log is rotten. Your foundation log is rotten right there. That could cause this whole building to collapse.
Sometimes I feel like if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. There's no way we can pull that log out of there. This is going to take a lot more time than we were thinking.
Yes, there is. Calm down. I do this sort of thing all the time.
It's a dangerous job. Let's go see if we can find a jack.
I just told him that I do this all the time. We can fix it. But actually, we're going to have our wits about us.
Eugene's pretty sure we can pull it out and replace this log quickly and get right back on task. So I'm going to keep on going with him. Is that the best jack we could come up with?
Yeah, that's all we got.
We've got a few steps that we're going to have to go through to pull this log out. First, we got to come up with a jack, which I've got some old jacks. Then we have to put in some blocks and hope the whole thing doesn't just fall over. I guess we'll just lift up one side and then block it, and then lift up the other side, and we can just pull that rotten log right out of there.
They need to jack each side and brace it until both ends are up so they can move the useless log out without toppling it all over.
We're going to have to be careful, though, because when we lift this up, this whole thing could fall down on top of us.
Weighs enough to crush a man, that's for sure.
Between the logs and the roof, Spencer and Eugene have to lift almost 3 tons to get that rotten log out.
The problem is, this log right here is shorter than the rest of them. There's no way we can get underneath of it to lift it up.
If we had some sort of L angle.
I have to go down to the forge and see if I can find something.
I'll go ahead and start setting up that side for jacking. You go down to the forge, see if you can find an L angle.
I'll be right back.
Eugene's moving a homemade angle plate from down below. That's an L-shaped piece of metal that can attach to the log to make a flat, stable work platform. That way the jack won't slip and make those logs fall.
Hey, what'd you find?
There's your metal plate.
Oh, that's
one thing.
Just what I need.
Yeah, this is that base we were using to clamp the knives onto. And we could bolt this to the log and have something to lift up on. Cause see how far it sticks out?
We gotta have some heavy-duty bolts, though. I hear it creaking.
All right, that's good right there.
Man, I don't like the sound of this.
While we're jacking it up, every one of those logs is moving, is shifting around. And when they shift, they snap and creak, and it's really kind of creepy. Almost there. I just need a few more cranks. That's it.
Did you see it shift towards you?
All right, let the jack down. So this is good. We should be able to get this log out on this side. All right, now we gotta do this other end.
Have to jack up one corner of the cabin, block it, hold it steady. Jack up the other corner of the cabin, block it, pull the log out, and then bring it down in a couple stages and hope the whole thing doesn't just fall over. You know what I'm thinking, man, is we probably should have mounted this thing on before we jacked up that side over there, because it's a little bit wobbly now.
Maybe you're right.
Now they got to jack up the other side.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This drying shed is constructed just like toy logs that you played with growing up. There's no pins or rods or dowels holding it together. So if you jack up one corner and it gets out of whack, the whole thing could come down, and that's a lot of weight, a lot more than a car. Jeez. This is the most dangerous part, because once we get both corners free floating and up, that's the most likely time for something to come apart on this cabin. Just really watch yourself, man. Stay on your toes and listen. Back up!
Coming up, will the walls come tumbling down? And later, is this guest shack becoming a smokehouse? Folks, don't try this at home.
This is the most dangerous part. Stay on your toes and listen.
The boys are turning Spencer's drying shed into a cabin for his mother-in-law's visit. But first, they got to replace a useless log without making the shed collapse.
Back up! The rafter came right down above Eugene and I, pulled loose about half a dozen shingles. I thought the whole shed was coming down. That whole support beam just fell off.
I thought that whole 3,000-pound building was coming down on top of me. I thought I was dead.
Watch out, man. That might not be the only thing that comes down. This is like one of those projects where the further we get into it, the more we got to replace.
You want this whole thing to shift forward and fall apart.
I'm worried about the side to side, too. Careful, careful. Every time you tap on it, it moves over. All right, what about coming in from the other side?
I'll have to go inside. There's no choice.
Well, I'm not gonna jack while you're inside, man.
They need to lift that shed up another inch before they can pull that bottom log out.
I don't like you being inside that cabin, brother. You just got a death wish, man.
We still need to bring this log up at least an inch. I had to go inside that building and shim those logs up so that we could lift that corner. A lot of times I don't even think about the danger I'm in until afterwards.
You know, every time you hammer, the whole cabin shifts off that way.
Just a little bit more, and I'll wedge it tight one more time. We should be able to let that jack loose, and then we can get this log out. Go ahead and let it down real slow.
All right, the jack's free. Don't touch the walls or nothing, man. Don't touch the door.
And we're gonna have to pick the end of this log up and slide it that way. All right.
All right, hold on, I got it. Don't move anything.
If that log don't come free, it could pull the whole shed apart.
It's like a giant pry bar over there. It'll tilt this cabin.
Pull it. There we go. There it is.
It's critical that we get a log that fits the exact same space as the old one, because if it's not the same size, it'll destabilize the whole structure. Somebody could get killed. How about this one right here on the trail?
It's got a little bit of a curve to it, but I think it's just the right size.
I'll get to cutting some notches on it.
When Spencer and I were felling trees for the drying shed, we had a bunch of them that we didn't use, and we found a log down there that it's not perfect, but it's straight enough and of a right diameter that we can just stick it in there, so we're going to use it.
This one's gonna be a big test right here.
Don't make me go in quite so easy.
Be careful, man. You and banging's always a problem. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This log just ain't fitting, and we need to get this dang job done. So I'm gonna pick up a rock and drive the log in there, and if the damn thing falls over, we'll just build his mother-in-law a tent.
The whole cabin shifted a bunch. Tap it soft. And Eugene, like usual, is just in a big hurry, but I need to slow him down, because this is dangerous. Soft, little taps. All right. Stay on your toes.
Lowering everything onto that new log is every bit as dangerous as lifting them up.
All right, there it is. You got a brand new foundation log now. There you go. All right. We need to go somewhere and get all the lumber we need at one time.
Let's go down and talk to Dave at the mill and see if we can make a deal with him. We got to come up with some wood for the floor. So we're going to see if we can work out a deal with Dave down at the mill.
And I need to find some canvas to drape over the walls so that the weather can't get in.
The boys are headed to Dave's sawmill to see if they can get enough wood to build a cabin floor. Dave's been known to make a few trades.
Like often happens, the Appalachian weather just changed on us, and this is really going to crimp our plans.
You notice that canvas right there?
That's nice, man.
You can see if you can talk him out of it.
Hey, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too.
We're needing some lumber, 200 board feet or so.
Just happen to have some right there.
Oh, that's nice. What would you take for it?
About $400 bucks.
I should have figured. It's a business, so the amount of lumber that we need is going to be about $400. That's not going to happen. You open to some trading?
What you got to trade on?
You know, I've got some lumber on my property. Trade some trees for some stuff you've sawed up.
About twice the board footage. About 500. That ought to cover it.
Well, I mean, we need to get it done. So I've got some poplar trees, and you take hemlock?
It's not rotten, yeah.
All right, that's the deal. He's interested in the idea of me cutting some trees down. I could drop a couple hundred board feet of trees. I mean, that's pretty good-looking wood. I mean, check it out, Gene.
Actually, I've got a pile right over there you guys might be interested in.
You don't want to trade this here?
That's for paying customers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to throw this canvas in on the deal?
Just can't do it, man. That's what we use to cover our lumber with.
All right, then.
This will make you some good flooring right here.
That looks awful old.
Still good lumber, man.
We've got to take what we can get, Gene. It's the story of our lives. I'll call you and let you know about those trees when we get them down. At least it hadn't been raining long. All this under here is still dry.
Hang on a second. Hey, man. I got this knife right here. I was thinking maybe if you trade this canvas for a knife, he really needs that stuff. I would never consider asking you to trade my knife for that, you know, but we really needed at least one piece of it, you know, something.
I get it.
That's a pretty good knife. You know, it's a file knife. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you.
Y'all have a good day.
You too.
That knife's worth a heck of a lot more than the canvas, but it's the only thing in Eugene's pocket worth trading.
How'd you do that?
Traded my knife for it.
Trading your knife? Get a hold of yourself, brother. That knife's like your samurai sword, and you're a samurai. We can't get rid of that thing. It's like your heart and soul.
Let's get out of here.
Eugene turned around. I didn't know what he was doing. Turns out he offered his knife up. I don't know what to say about that. He's a good friend. Got the wood. First thing we've got to do is go in that drying shed and start leveling off the dirt.
Uh-oh. Man, there's a huge rock right there.
Digging mountain soil is more rock than it is dirt. We've run into some trouble already. There's a huge boulder in that back corner that we can't get out. The thing that's got me worried about this rock, if it's too big, we won't even be able to roll it out the door.
Coming up, have the boys hit rock bottom?
Hear that?
Yeah.
Folks, don't try this at home.
Whole corner is filled up with that stone.
Yeah,
we can work around it. Why don't we just lay some stone up here and put the stove over here in this corner?
Eugene and Spencer are well on their way to making the drying shed into a cabin where Spencer's mother-in-law can stay. They replaced a rotten log, got a pile of wood, and even traded a knife for some canvas. But now they got to build a floor.
Some of these we might have to cut short. Some of them we might have to notch out the bottom of.
Hey, I'll be a working man till the end of my days.
Gene, I'll keep on working on nailing these boards. If you want to finish those trenches.
I've only got like 2 or 3 of them left to do.
The trenches are to level out the floor where the boards are going to go.
We'll cut them, I'll nail them down. We actually made that junk wood work. I mean, the floor turned out really nice, so I'm kind of surprised.
Now that the floor is down, the boys build a frame to fix the canvas on the walls.
This bigger canvas, just put it over this central beam for now.
They're putting up the canvas tent style, using a sapling as a center pole, then using nails and wood to flatten it out tight.
All right.
The U.S. Army has been making tents out of canvas since the Revolutionary War, because it's tough and water resistant. When fibers get wet, they swell up so moisture can't seep through.
She's really going to like this, man.
Now Spencer and Eugene just have to figure out how to heat the place up.
There's no way my mother-in-law is staying here unless it's warm.
I'm still kind of toying around with that rocket stove. A rocket stove recycles unburned gas and burns it again to make the fuel more efficient. I was thinking we could just build a lot of stuff that we have laying around here.
A rocket stove is used for cooking and heating. It gets its name from the way air moves through it. It rockets up hot and fast.
Why don't I go grab the pipe, and if you'll head down to the red shed, just see if you can find some tanks or something.
So, you know, water can and a propane canister.
I just brought all the pipes I had down there. I don't know what you need. I even brought this monster. The first thing we had to do was find the parts, which in this case turned out to be an old metal gas can and a propane tank and some piping I had down at the forge.
I'm probably gonna mount this can on top of that like that into the flue pipe.
Eugene's planning to build a rocket stove out of a propane tank, a gas can, and some pipes. Kindling goes at the bottom, pulling air into the combustion chamber where air expands so fast and gets so hot, the carbon particles burn up. That's why the exhaust is real clean compared to a regular wood-burning stove.
Now what we got to do is cut a nice, good-sized hole in the bottom of this.
Spencer's cutting holes in the propane tank and the can.
Yeah, that'll work. If you want to, go grab that battery welder. You did such a great job. You can chop another one right in the center of this can.
I'm your man. Yeah, it's wanting to storm a little bit. Let's get that welding stuff out of the rain.
With a knife order waiting to be filled and Spencer's mother-in-law on the way, they can't let a little rain slow them down.
Trying to weld with a rickety welder in the rain is the worst possible idea. One of us could very well get electrocuted. This thing should set right about like that. We can cut that hole right here and run our pipe through it, and cut a door right here, and we'll be ready to go.
Spencer's cutting a hole in the rocket stove for the kindling.
Yeah, that'll work real good.
Then they're adding a chimney to vent the exhaust.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, look at the smoke. It's coming out of this pipe right here.
Carbon monoxide in that smoke is mighty toxic. It could cause headache, nausea, and even death.
Oh, my God.
Oh, get the daggum smoke coming out of here, man.
Coming up, are their plans going up in smoke?
This is too far from the house.
Folks, don't try this at home.
It needs to get more oxygen without the door being open.
Eugene and Spencer just fired up the rocket stove to heat the cabin where Spencer's mother-in-law will stay. But if they can't figure out how to get that smoke out, ain't nobody sleeping in that cabin.
As soon as that stove heated up enough, the smoke started boiling out of it.
We got to put some holes in the bottom of the fire tank. My mother-in-law would never stay in there.
All we got to do is drill a nice fat hole in this pipe right here. It wasn't getting enough air, and it started smoking everywhere. So I had to drill a couple relief holes to let air into the system, and when I did that, it started working perfect.
Once the air is moving through the combustion chamber just right, the backdraft disappears, and the exhaust goes out of the cabin the way it should.
That's got a pretty good hole in there. It seems like it's drafting pretty good. I mean, look, now it's drawing air like it's supposed to.
Let's start thinking about the creature comforts.
I know she's going to want a comfortable bed.
The mother-in-law's cabin's got the basics. Walls, floor, and heat. Now it needs a place where she can rest her head.
The bed that we're going to make is pretty simple. It's just 4 end posts and a couple side rails.
Around Appalachia, most everyone's ancestors slept on a rope bed, topped with a straw tick mattress. That's why folks say sleep tight, because you don't want them ropes to sag.
And we're going to rely on the ropes that we run through the bottom to hold the whole thing together.
Eugene plans to fit post and rails together real snug, then string a rope through holes in the rails in a crosshatch pattern. Once the bed frame is in place, Spencer and Eugene run rope through the rails.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
Now we've got to get it in the cabin.
Oh, it's just going to fit in here.
I'll go grab a couple of those things from my grandma. We'll spruce it up and look pretty. When it comes down to decorating and making this place look nice, I'm trying to imagine what my mother-in-law would like.
A few pretty touches and Spencer's mother-in-law should feel right at home.
Spencer and I are completely done with this thing, and we're ready for his mother-in-law to get here. But that doesn't mean that Melody agrees that we're finished.
Wow.
Wait till you see this. Just take a minute. Go in there and look around.
Oh, my goodness. You guys made that bed, and what's this?
We built that stove from scratch.
You're kidding. It's so warm in here. I can't believe you guys did all of this for my mom. You guys, this is amazing. I mean, you made a wood stove. You put a quilt on the bed. But there's no way she'll stay here, though. There's no bathroom, running water. This is too far from the house.
People pay money to stay in a cabin like this in the mountains.
Not old ladies. How about you stay here, and I'll just have Mom with me at the house. You enjoy it. I'll see you later. I gotta go get the laundry done right now.
Mel was touched all right, but not touched enough to think that her mom would ever spend the night in this cabin.
I knew right from the start that Spencer's mother-in-law would never stay in this place. But my objective was to get her up here so Spencer could stay and work on this knife order. And I think I've accomplished that pretty good.
Man, if I'd have known I was building this cabin for me, I'd have made that bed a little bigger.
Well, just make sure you're up bright and early in the morning. We got a lot of knives to make.
Spencer got to keep his drying shed, and everyone's got a warm place to rest their heads tonight, up on Cold Mountain.
Want to see more clips of us living the ultimate hillbilly life?
Go to DestinationAmerica.com.